Welcome to the video, everyone. That's me, also known as That Jiu-Jitsu Guy. The channel is called that, so when you're telling all of your friends about something you heard or saw on my channel, you can just say you were watching that jiu-jitsu guy that you like. Recently, we have had a few big news stories in the world of professional grappling, and I think they are kind of related and maybe leading to the same end: the potential downfall of FloGrappling. I've talked in previous videos, including the one up here, about how people really don't like FloGrappling. If you're subscribed to the channel, you've probably seen those. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, this seems like the perfect time to clear that up and smash that subscribe button. Flo is losing major components of its platform. Flo also just threw a big ton of money at Gordon Ryan. So how is this all tying together? Let's get into it. The biggest news, for me as a fan at least, is that ADCC is moving from FloGrappling to UFC Fight Pass. Fight Pass will air ADCC 2024 as well as the qualifiers and the Open. That's exciting because maybe your boy makes a run at the ADCC Open. Stay tuned. But to me, this just makes sense. Putting the biggest grappling event in the world on the platform of the biggest fight company in the world, that seems like a logical move. This is obviously a big loss for FloGrappling. Just anecdotally, I know a lot of people who only signed up for FloGrappling because ADCC was this past year and on FloGrappling. And we'll have more on FloGrappling signups and pricing in just a minute, but there is no doubting how much of an effect ADCC has, or I guess now I should say has had, on FloGrappling subscriptions. So that's one thing gone from Flo. It was also announced that Fight to Win left Flo and is now on Fight TV. You can get Fight TV for $5 a month or the whole year for $50, or you can just spend $20 for an individual event. I think that Fight to Win is great for a couple of reasons. Number one, it gives local guys who are never going to win ADCC or be on a bigger stage like Polaris or Who's Number One or EBI. It gives those guys a chance to get that level of production, and you're on a stage with lights and music, and it's a great experience. I've competed for them several times, and I hopefully will again. Number two, the events themselves are a lot of fun for the competitors and the spectators. The sub-only format and the financial incentive to win via submission usually means fun matches. However, I probably won't spend money just because Fight TV has Fight to Win. Fight to Win on whatever platform it's on is just a piece of the puzzle, not the whole picture for me. Will I spend $5 a month because Fight TV now has Fight to Win? No. Will I spend $5 a month because Fight to Win is part of a programming lineup that also includes Subversive, BKFC, and Grapple Fest? Maybe. Likewise, I also won't cancel FloGrappling just because it doesn't have Fight to Win. But will I cancel FloGrappling because they are now missing several pieces of the puzzle? Again, maybe. With no ADCC or Fight to Win, Flo now just has IBJJF content and Who's Number One, where you do see some of the biggest names in grappling, and of course Gordon Ryan, but more on that in a minute. I wish I could say this next part was a plug because I'd love to get some of that sweet UFC money, but it's not. I'm just reporting the facts. At the time of this recording, you can get Fight Pass for $10 a month, or you can pay $95 and have it for the whole year. Flo is $150 for the whole year. One of the biggest complaints about Flo is that you can't do month to month or just pay per event. You're all in for the whole year up front for $150, which it's not super cheap just to watch grappling, and you might get one event a month that you personally want to watch. I watch jiu-jitsu all the time and every free chance I get, so I'm not a good measure here. But for most people who aren't crazy like me, that might be a little too steep to stay up until 2 in the morning on a Monday morning to finish a card that started Sunday night just so you can watch the Gordon Ryan match. And for the context of that last sentence, you can check out this video up here. All I'm saying is $10 a month or $95 for the year is a lot easier to swallow than $150 up front for the whole year. I think having ADCC on Fight Pass will grow the sport a lot more. UFC backing grappling and pushing it mainstream can do a lot more than Flo can. And that's not a knock on Flo, that's just the truth. The average person has at least heard of the UFC. The average person has not heard of FloGrappling. There's a reason for that, and it just means that the UFC has more weight behind them than Flo does. Right now, the UFC is currently pushing Power Slap. The ratings have sucked, but they still managed to get it on TBS just because they are the UFC and they pushed for it. Flo couldn't do that. Obviously, decisions like where ADCC is going to be broadcast don't happen suddenly, and I highly doubt Flo is caught off guard by this news. This is probably why they just threw a big ton of money at Gordon Ryan, or at least part of the reason why. Gordon just signed a 7-figure deal with them. Even though the contract isn't exclusive and Gordon can and likely will compete on other platforms like he just did against Nicky Rod on Fight Pass, Flo guaranteeing that Gordon Ryan will have at least a few matches this year for them is a big help and a deterrent to those who might be quick to cancel their subscriptions. That's the word. Here's why I might be different than most. I don't want Flo to fall by the wayside. I want Flo to stick around. I also want Fight Pass to push grappling and feature more events. And hell, you can even keep Fight TV in the mix too. Why? Competition. If we have multiple streams with deep pockets competing to put out the best cards featuring the best athletes, that means more money should be spent on the athletes. The biggest problem with UFC fighter pay is that the UFC, while not truly a monopoly, because obviously you have other high quality promotions, the UFC is the biggest game in town and the most prestigious fight organization in the world. You don't want to fight for the UFC's small pay? Good luck telling people you fight for Bellator and A, seeing if they know what that is, or B, getting paid more under the Bellator banner than you did with the UFC. I'm not endorsing the UFC in this by any means, that's just the way it is. Right now in the professional jiu-jitsu landscape, we have several players all competing for talent. Flo just gave Gordon Ryan $1 million to compete in jiu-jitsu. They see the value he brings. The more organizations we have competing over these athletes, the better it is for the athletes. If Flo vanishes and all we have is Fight Pass, then Fight Pass will pay the bare minimum they have to in order to get guys to compete on their shows. It's just business 101. Pay the least amount you need to in order to reap the most reward. We don't want just one game in town, we want competition. But I could be the minority here, paying $150 a year for Flo, plus $95 for Fight Pass, and then another $50 for Fight TV. That is a lot. As of right now, I'm not canceling my FloGrappling subscription just yet. They still have all the IBJJF content and Who's Number One, and we're probably going to get at least a few Gordon Ryan matches this year, and they also produce a bunch of alternate content as well. But if they lose too many more pieces of the puzzle, I don't know how long I can justify the cost. But I'm a jiu-jitsu nerd, that's why the channel is called That Jiu-Jitsu Guy, so if anyone is likely to spend too much money on jiu-jitsu, it's me. So that's why I want to hear from you. Do you still pay for Flo? If you do have a subscription, does ADCC leaving make you likely to cancel? Let me know down in the comments. Also, I've really been enjoying making these YouTube shorts and I'm trying to do like one a day. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any of those. I know not everyone scrolls the shorts section on YouTube. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, you might be missing 5 to 6 videos a week from your favorite jiu-jitsu guy. If you're subscribed, they'll be in your main feed, not just the shorts section. And if you watched all the way to the end and made it this far, then you are a legend and I appreciate you, and I will see you all next time.